the weaponry provided to you by the Holy Quran. But for each atheist, you have to first study his views. Now, how can I give an argument to someone while I don't know what his own views are about that thing? Atheism is a religion of nothingness. And to start with nothingness, at least I have to find out how can you be, you think, you tell me. How can you be convinced? What is your criterion or criteria? Tell me, and then I'll start my discussion, first analyzing the criteria proposed by an atheist. When will he believe in God? What is the minimum requirement for his belief in God? Once he gives them his criteria, then I'll be able to hold a superior position as against him. Then I'll be able to criticize his criteria first. I'll be able to tell him that you yourself are living in a paradox. For instance, he may tell me that God is not a palpable thing. You cannot touch him, you cannot smell him, you cannot see him, you cannot taste him. So how can we believe in a thing which has none of the qualities which we can perceive? So I can tell him, in the light of the modern discoveries, that you believe in 101 things, in fact billions of such things now today, which you can never touch or see or taste or smell. You believe in the realities of radiation. And some of them you see, you reach through radios and televisions or some other instruments, but never directly by your eyes or the five senses of which you are talking. So you have to agree that there are certain things which exist, of course, very powerfully exist, but we cannot reach directly through the help of our five senses. Some means are to be found, some via media is to be adopted to reach such things. So if Allah is, as we believe in Him, the ultimate of everything, the most refined form that can be, then how can you reach Him through the crude machinery of today either? Because 100 years ago, when man did not know of this machinery, they could never reach out to these realities of life. Was man justified to deny those things? They saw the phenomena of radiation and they had to adapt it in a different way. Adopt to it, they knew that something existed in the form of some power which we cannot reach, yet they had no proof. Today's man has acquired proofs, and it again begins to monopolize those proofs and says, all right, this we agree and the next step we are not going to take. This is not logical. So we must come to one common understanding, one common platform with an atheist, and find out from him a method whereby he can rationally be convinced. That method proposed by him should not have an internal paradox. So as you come to discuss these things with different atheists, Allah will show you light and you will begin to see your way into Him. There can never be a generality in this regard which can convince every atheist. There can't be a general formula. It's impossible. And this is what she wants me, the second impossibility. The first impossibility, ignore the Holy Quran and come out with convincing reasoning. It cannot happen. Secondly, she says, give me one single formula which can generally convince every atheist. It's impossible, it can't happen. Which atheist, what does he believe in? How can he be brought about to believe in a thing? For each atheist, there will be a definite answer, and in light of that answer, you will begin to see where doors are situated in his internal building. where there are roads to be followed. Every man is a creation, a strange, complex creation of Allah. It's like a building, it has its own design. There are places in human beings which you can look at as doors, and there are windows, and there are solid walls. So without knowing the making of a person, if you begin to start convincing him in a mad rush, you may strike your head against a solid wall. You may try to approach him from where he cannot be approached. That is what I mean. So each person has his own way of approach, and without studying that person in such detail, you cannot begin to see him and understand him, and you cannot ever convince him. So that is my second advice to you. Each atheist has to be first studied, and the option should be left to him. Without knowing his mind, if you start giving arguments, you will be led into a rigmarole from which you will never be able to come out whole. Find out from the atheists, if they do not believe in God, why? He may say, well, I have no evidence. So all right, if you have no evidence, can you think an evidence can be presented in some way or the other which can lead to the proof of God? If he says no evidence can ever lead, then why do you waste your time on such a person? If he says, yes, I want this type of argument, this type of evidence, then you're in a position to see the internal paradoxes in that way, that approach, if there are any. And once you agree that yes, this is the right approach, I also agree, then from then on, you will see that argument already discussed and mentioned in the Holy Quran. From there, the Holy Quran would take over. And I have discussed these things in my large experience with various atheists, both of Europe and the Eastern world, and I never found myself in any difficulty whatsoever. It's a different thing to convince somebody. True final conviction has many other prerequisites which may not be present. But this I know from my experience, that never did it happen that I presented an argument from the Holy Quran to an atheist, and he went back with the satisfaction that he defeated the Holy Quran. He always returned disturbed that he could not come out with enough answer for this argument. Yet he would also say many a time that yes, I am not convinced of the reality of God, but I know I have no answer for this argument. This has happened many times, and it may happen to you. So ultimately, the belief in God will not be sowed into people's mind just merely by the force of your arguments. That is the third point which I want to mention in this regard. For that, you will have to pray to Allah for such people. The real conviction, real faith, does not spring only from arguments. It also needs Allah's special help and favor. So if you argue with your atheist friends, keep all these factors into account, bring all these factors into account before you begin your discussion. And once you think you have defeated them, don't be satisfied with that defeat. Unless you have won them over, this defeat doesn't mean anything. So begin to pray for them, show them the force of Allah's friendship with you, the reality of God as He lives in a way in you. If they begin to see in you a godly being, a person different from the other people, a more charming personality, a more impressive personality, something which has been transformed with the influence of something they don't know, it is only then that they will begin to take real interest. And then you help them with your prayers, and inshallah you will be able to convert a few atheists from here and there. Yes, please. You told me a little while ago